How to start your Monday morning. Start the fire, boil the water, grind the coffee, add filter, coffee in the filter, water into filter, watch it drip, more water, watch it drip some more, fill your cup, raise your cup, and no. Leave the house and leave it up to the professionals to make the coffee. I'll stick to the conversations. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations with Brooke Allen. Hey, good morning. Welcome to Caffeinated Conversations. This is season 2, show 77. It is now officially May. And, we were talking before the show, nobody could figure out what to wear today because it's like kind of rainy, but it's May. Can you wear white shoes yet? Probably not. I don't know. But so that was the whole dilemma today before the start of the show. Of course, it's going to be another busy month. April was jam-packed. I was moderating panels. We had a couple galas we attended. It was a lot of fun. May 13th, I will actually be in Brighton at the Harmonic All Hearts Garage in Brighton. And that is with the Center for Financial Planning. They have a huge event going on out there to highlight their book. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But first, also something very exciting. I was actually invited to attend the 2025 Mackinac Policy Conference, courtesy of Blue Cross Blue Shield. So I will be working right out of Media Row. So I'm super excited about that. Of course, I was there last year as well. So again, hanging out at the Grand Hotel with all the movers and shakers, that'll be exciting. In fact, if you have any questions that you want me to ask anyone there, for anyone specific, let me know. Reach out to me on social media and I will track them down for you and we will get those questions answered. A lot going on, of course, in the world. Well, a lot going on here, and Mickey Gardner is here, and I have to tell you that I shocked her because probably 20 seconds I was like, this is live, right? And she's like, okay. So the pressure is on, Mickey.
No pressure.
No pressure at all. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity.
So it's so funny because we have a mutual friend,
We
Amy,
do.
and she was sharing your post, and I loved what it was. This coaching session that you have coming up, and you're a life coach.
I'm a somatic life and parenting coach. Yep.
And parenting is what caught my eye.
Yes.
And co-parenting is what caught my eye even more because a lot of people are in that situation, myself included, and it is always a hot topic.
It is a hot topic. And it's something that I think is more and more common, but not really hitting that mainstream conversation yet, right? I think that divorce has always had a little bit of a, sort of let's not talk about it, let's keep it over there. But it's part of everyone's lives on some level. And so being able to have open conversations, to be able to learn some tools and the strategies that we need to be able to parent and co-parent so that we are not putting sort of extra baggage on our kids. That's really my mission. I want to support kids. And I believe to do that, we have to support the parents so that kids have healthy, stable, strong, grounded places to come home to.
So what to you is the definition of co-parenting?
I define co-parenting as parenting with anyone that you don't agree with all of the time. So, it really is, whether it's a spouse, a separation, parenting with your parents, if they're helping you, a nanny, whomever it might be, we're not parenting in a silo ever. And I think when divorce comes in, that's what most people think of as co-parenting. But like the event that we have coming up is actually for married couples, right? But most of my work is with divorced and families who are separating and learning how to co-parent.
So you came into this experience from your own experience, right?
Yes.
Okay. So do you mind talking about that a little bit?
For sure. Yeah, no problem. I divorced about 10 years ago, and it was challenging to say the least. And there wasn't a lot of support out there, and there might have been, but I wasn't able to access it. I think because I tried to put on a brave face, I tried to just put a smile on my face and sort of muscle my way through it. But in doing that, my anxiety got really high. I struggled with depression, and I wasn't able to be there for my son the way that I want to. And I talk about this in my book. He was really the catalyst for me. I wish I could say that it was smooth. But I hit rock bottom a few times before I really was able to start to get help through therapy, through coaching. And that's when I started to learn some tools and strategies that made my life easier, right? I could manage my anxiety differently. I could deal with the depression. And by becoming more grounded, more responsive, right? Instead of just reacting to life, but learning how to be responsive, I was able to be there for my son in a
And
different
he
way.
was 10?
So
or-
when we divorced, he was 3.
Okay.
He just turned 15
he just turned
a couple
15.
weeks ago.
I'm really bad at math. Sorry.
No. So we've been doing this a long time. And my ex-husband is married with a son. So my son has a half brother.
Okay.
We co-parent all together. And that was really a choice that I made early on. I knew that he was going to go on and have this life with the woman that he chose. And I believed that my only job was to learn how to love the two of them. And people thought I was crazy when I said this, but I knew that if I could find love in my heart for them, I would make my son's life better.
Right.
And so that became my mission, even on the days when it was really hard, even on the days that I really don't like them, because we have those days.
We do.
Right?
We do indeed.
We don't agree with people all the time. And we don't agree with the other co-parent. And I always remind clients, if you were still married, you still wouldn't agree with them.
Oh, that's an excellent point. Yeah.
And we've got to remember that, because it's not about being on the same page or everybody getting along or everyone agreeing on every topic. It's how do we navigate parenting and co-parenting when we don't agree? How do we minimize the conflict? How do we learn what battle needs to be fought and which one doesn't?
Which one, just to be like, you know what, I'm going to skip that one today, right?
But that's a really hard thing. And when we are in a really ungrounded space or not feeling good within ourselves or not aware of what's actually happening on our internal experience, we can't get to those points. And then we end up fighting every battle that is in front of us. And I think that's what most people struggle with.
So let me ask you, I know that like in the darkest days when you first, you get divorced and you're going through it and the kids are watching, they're watching every reaction. And so you're trying to put on that brave face, but you're also trying to hold it together because you are angry or there's all these emotions coming up.
Absolutely.
So you're trying to be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But they're watching every move. And that's what I think, what's your opinion on, do you let them see when you're upset or is there a medium?
Yeah, I think there's a medium, but first and foremost, what we have to start to be willing to do with, which I think is challenging, is feel our feelings. Most of us don't like to feel our feelings. We like to feel the good ones. We like to feel the happy ones, but we don't like to feel the others, or we think it's inconvenient, or just stuff it down and I'll deal with it later.
But it seems like other people don't want to be around you and you're feeling those feelings either, right?
Of course. And it's so overwhelming, especially when we're overwhelmed by all the negative feelings. And I bring that up before I'm going to talk about how to deal with the kids, because we have to really shift our perspective to understand that our feelings are not there to destroy us. Our feelings are just little messengers in our bodies that have a message that we need to figure out. But unless we are willing to actually do that and learn, most of us were not taught how to feel our feelings, right? This is something that we're teaching children now. But, I'm almost 50 years old and I didn't really learn those things. So by learning how to feel my own feelings, I'm actually able to be a different example for my child, right? Because I can sit there which is what I always encourage, don't try to hide your feelings, but age and stage appropriate, right? So if you're having a really sad day and you've got the littles, and they're absorbing everything energetically, whether you say it or not. So I think it's okay to say, you know what, that's really sad today, but I'm going to go for a walk, or I'm going to call a friend. I'm going to take care of myself and my feelings, and I'm going to be okay. And I love you. That's a very different conversation than I'm fine. Right? Because
everything's good.
Every time we do that to a child, when they can visibly see that you're upset, they energetically feel you're upset, but then you say, no, I'm good.
And it contradicts, right?
It contradicts, but what it does is it starts to really eat at their confidence in their own ability to read the room. Right? They start to go, oh, okay, well, I sense this, but she's saying this. Right? And then they start to not trust themselves.
Oh.
They start to not trust their own feelings. And that's what we want to try to avoid. But the only way we can do that is when we are actually feeling our own feelings. So we go first. Right? I always tell moms, they're like, well, I don't want to be the one to go first. I always do everything. I get it, but that's just the way it is. We go first. We're the example, the living, breathing example. And that's actually why I got divorced. my ex-husband he probably would have stayed for a little while longer. But I really stopped one night and said, is this the example of what I want my son to see? A woman, a wife, a mom? And the resounding, it was just the loudest voice said no. I said, then that's what I have to do. I have to start living in integrity and living the life that I want to show him what I want for him in the future. What do I want him to believe as a strong, grounded, loving woman? And I had to make some real shifts and changes. But I think, we can only do what we can do with what we have in the moment.
Right.
And so it's really about getting the support, getting help, learning how to feel your feelings, being grounded in your own body, starting to feel through your experience. Emotions will come and go. We don't want to, you said when their anger is there, the anger is okay. Anger is actually a really useful emotion that we need to have to get us going, right? Any big movement in the world
it propels you, right? For sure.
Because of anger, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Anger is an emotion that moves us, right? So it can be really useful. It's not so useful when we try to set up camp and live there forever. That's what we don't want to do. But we do want to learn how to process it. And, with my clients, we do work on a lot of anger release techniques, right? How do we actually release anger from our body?
And do it in a good way, right? Instead of throwing like wine glasses or something.
Right, because people say that they're afraid of anger. It's not anger necessarily that we're afraid of. It's the way that people express anger that we're really afraid of. And that's when we suppress our feelings and we start just uncontrollably reacting. That's scary anger.
Right.
That's when people hurt other people. But healthy, right? Just the other day, I had an interaction with someone that was really frustrating. They walked out of the door and I screamed like this guttural rage scream that I've had to work on. I didn't know how to scream and yell. The first time I felt the need to scream, it was like, like, what was that? Right? But that was really years of being told, be quiet, be good, be, complacent, be helpful, all of those things.
And so I've had with a smile on your face.
Always with a smile, always looking good. So I had to learn how to yell. And I've been working on it for the last couple of years. My dog is not a fan, does not like when I do my rage screaming,
right.
But I felt so much better afterwards, right?
And then it was done.
It left my body.
Right.
But if I kept it down, I would have stewed on it all day, right? It would have come out. It's like the leaky bucket.
Right.
Comes out somewhere.
Right.
So I'd rather it come out in a way that I feel in control and good about.
So with kids, and, we've talked about how they mirror, they can feel, it may affect them reading the room. And I never thought of that because it's all contradiction for them.
Yeah.
And so to do that in a good way and to, to really focus on them. I saw something, and I will admit it was on Facebook, but it said, your kids mirror your energy.
Absolutely.
So it was the funniest thing. So my son has been having some struggles lately. And so I thought, you know what, by golly, I'm going to go into his room and be a dancing maniac. And so he sleeps in a loft bed. So he was sleeping and I'm like, okay, bye, come on, time to wake up. And I'm like, and he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, come on, let's face the day. It's going to be great. Yeah. And so, and I kept thinking, this is not working. This is not. But then all of a sudden he's like, okay, I'm up. Let's dance.
Oh, good. Yeah.
It was awesome.
Good.
It was really cool. It faded fast.
Yeah.
I will say that, right?
That's okay.
But for the moment that it was, and I thought, oh, you know what? That really is true.
Yes.
And so with anger, with sadness, they reflect that.
Yeah. Well, we do that with little kids, like babies, right? It's the mirror neurons. We see what is happening with someone else and it reflects back to us, right? And so with babies, we'll smile and we'll make all these faces and they do that back to us.
Right.
But we really do, just like you just gave that beautiful example, we have the power to really shift things in either direction. But we want to be conscious about it. We want to be aware. We want to do it intentionally. Because kids can learn how to deal with their emotions from us. And I think that's what I watched with my son is I saw him really struggling with anxiety, really struggling with a lot of things that I'm certainly not blaming myself, right? I'm not to blame, but it is my responsibility. And so learning how to shift myself so that he can, and now I watch him, I just saw he wrote a paper about, they were talking about stress at school and he wrote a paper and he's talked about some of the breathing techniques that we've done since he was little,
That's
right?
cool.
Are the things that help him to manage his stress, right? So
Mhm.
he has these tools. And half the time I think he's not listening to a thing I say,
Right.
right? But then there are these moments where they're actually using them. And so we have to kind of release, but just be the example and just put them out there as
Mm.
like a little buffet
Right.
and
Like our buffet over there,
yeah,
right?
and see what they take.
Right. And see what stays with them.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. What if you are trying to live in like what we just talked about, letting the anger go, but if your say your ex spouse is not.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so there's the positive and negative aspect, and the kids maybe feel caught in between
Hmm.
and they pick up on the negativity, but then they pick, I mean, it goes back and forth. Is there
Absolutely.
any way to make that stable or?
Yeah. So I'm a strong believer in my mentor and teacher, Dr. Shafali Tisbury, who's Oprah's parenting coach. She always reminds us that children need one grounded, loving, safe parent. That's it.
Hmm,
If they get more than one, it's a bonus.
really?
Absolutely. But kids need one. And so I always urge parents that I work with, and I remind myself, my only job is to be the one. Right. And that has nothing to do, it's not discounting or saying the other person is good or bad or right or wrong, but it's focusing on what I have control over. What do I have control over? Me, how I feel, how I think, and how I show up. I have no control over my ex. I
Hmm.
have no control over anything that's happening in the other house, but I do have control over what's going on for me. And so that's a really important shift in mindset because it's like really allowing the other person, not abuse. I'm not talking about abuse
Right.
or anything like that, but the other person is going to do it their way and deciding how you want to show up. I really made some decisions early on. I was never going to badmouth
Right.
his dad because they are half of you,
Hmm.
right? So whenever we badmouth the other parent, you are badmouthing your child,
Hmm.
right? And they internalize that. And so I really made this decision that I was going to learn how to love them again and love them differently. I can genuinely say I love my ex-husband, right? I'm really glad that he's married to her and not me because, right? But I love him. He is my son's father.
Hmm.
And so my job is only to find love. And that doesn't mean that I have to agree with him. It doesn't mean any of those things, but that helps me come to our interactions differently because I can put my child center,
Hmm.
right? We don't want our children being in the middle
Right.
because then they're a tug of war. We want our kids center and grounded. And so I say that because we've got to really start to shift perspective. Again, going back to what is the battle that I'm going to fight?
Hmm.
Is the other person, saying these things about me? Do I need to tell my kids that they're not true? Maybe, maybe not. But
Right.
only you can answer that from a really grounded place. Otherwise, you can sort of decide, I'm not going to give it any more attention or time, but I'm going to show my children, right? I can say to my son, he'll say something, and I'm like, no, that actually is, in my perspective, not true.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just
So,
end it there,
right.
right? I don't need to
You
get
just
into
answer
it.
it. It's
Answer it and be
answer it
done.
and be done.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing, especially when you're new, have some stock answers. I'm all for having sort of answers at the ready. My son would ask, why did you and dad get divorced? I want you to
Yeah,
get
that's
back
a big one,
together.
right?
It's a big
It's a
one.
big one.
He was really little. So
Hmm.
I had to just explain, you know what, honey, when you're older, it'll be a different conversation.
Hmm.
But your dad and I are happier separate than we are together. And we thought two happy parents is better than two unhappy parents. And we love you. We both always ending it with, we both love you. And so reinforcing that he is loved, that he is cared for, that he is safe in both homes.
Right.
Even if we don't agree, right, on how
Hmm.
things are run, bedtime and other things. And,
How about the showers? Can we talk about the showers?
it's all
It's all of it, right?
It's infuriating,
It
but
is. Okay, so you have this coaching session coming up.
yes.
Okay, so
So
I know it's for married couples.
it is all of that to say it's I like to say it's sort of divorce proofing your marriage, right?
Okay.
Because Tim Fulmer from the Healing Home Counseling Group and
Mhm.
so he's a professional counselor, I'm the coach. And so we're really bringing together a conversation about why is conflict happening? What are the struggles and how do you deal with it? And it's So it's on May 18th. It's a Sunday afternoon, and it's 3 hours that you can come with your spouse or whomever you're parenting with
Mhm.
and really just start to have conversations that will shift how you interact together, right? Because lives are so fast and we're just kind of trying to keep up. Very often we don't have the opportunity to really sit down and say, hey, you know what? We keep hitting the same battle, the same conflict, the same pattern that is not working for us. Well, let's understand A, why it's happening,
Mhm.
but B, let's figure out what we can do about it.
And move past it finally, right?
Because so many times we just get stuck in the why is it happening or where is this coming from or ignoring it,
Mhm.
right? But we're never actually changing it at its root. And so that's what we're doing is we will give you some tools and strategies for parenting on the same page. That's the name of it, a mindset approach. I'm going to go through the 3 A's, the framework that's in my book that helps you really stop reacting to the people around you and start being more responsive, right? I always say we have to take responsibility, which is our ability to respond to life. We can only do that when we're no longer reacting. And so we're going to really talk through these things and give couples a tangible action plan when they leave on how to actually shift these patterns from negative to positive.
So on your website, you mentioned toxic positivity. And I just want to ask you real quick, what is that to you?
Yeah, toxic positivity is, oh, no, it's going to be fine. Yeah, no, we're good. No, oh, I can get that for you. Oh, no, it's fine, right? It's that constant just putting on a brave face, just whitewashing it with kind of like, I'm just going to paint it all pink and then it's going to be fine, right? But that's just trying to change the paint color, right?
Right.
And so what we have to really do is accept that there is negative in life, right? There's positive and there's negative. And it's supposed to be that way. There's a balance to life. But when we only accept the positive, we are really negating the learning that we need. And we're missing everything that's happening in the negativity. There's lessons to be learned there. There's jewels of wisdom and knowledge. And we have to be willing to navigate both sides. But I think so often, especially with TikTok and, Instagram and all of it, it's really easy to have a soundbite and just sort of think positive. But all that does is try to get you to muscle through life. Right.
And not then really feel it, like you said at the beginning.
Absolutely. I always say it's like a beach ball, right? You can hold a beach ball underwater for a minute.
Right.
It takes a ton of effort, a lot of energy. And eventually that sucker is ending up there and you're ending up underneath it. That to me is toxic positivity. It's just how long are you trying to push down the negative and then you just give it so much force that it's coming up. And so we've really got to start to look at accepting both the positive and the negative so that we can navigate the waters, not be fighting against them.
I don't know that I'll ever look at a beach ball the same way.
I know.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so you have a book.
I do have a book.
Okay, your website is beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes. So what is the book called and how can people get it?
The book is called The People Pleaser's Guide to Co-Parenting Well. It's a lot of P's in there. Don't ever do that if you're writing a book. It's on Amazon, sort of the regular places that you can get books.
Okay.
I have a podcast, which is Co-Parenting with Confidence. And that's where I talk a lot about these topics and how to co-parent in a more positive, grounded way. And then my website is there and Instagram.
And then, of course, people who want you as a coach, a co-parenting coach, right?
And there's that.
There's that. And they can have a quick call with you?
Yeah, I do have a breakthrough call that's free, 30 minutes, where I really want people to be able to have a conversation and take something actionable away. So I always try to help find one thing that you need to be working or that you're wanting to work on and help you sort of shift that. I do one-to-one coaching. I run women's groups as well for supporting because we need to be in community. I think that's the one thing that I wish if I could go back and tell myself when I first got divorced is that there is help out there and that you don't have to do this alone. And I really did it alone for so long and it was really just more difficult than it needed to be. And so we need to be in community, especially as women, with other women. But we need to understand that there is a lot of help out there. And we need to find that so that we can be in support with one another.
Yeah, I know when I was going through the divorce, it was interesting because it seemed like you're telling the same story over and over again. And you see your friend's eyes roll, like, oh, here she goes again. But you're stuck. you're stuck.
Yeah. And I think that's when something, therapy, I'm a strong proponent. I'm getting my master's in counseling at the moment. So I love therapy. I love all the things, right? But I also love coaching because there's just this really beautiful ability to be with someone in their present moment and help them shift in a different direction. And I think that's what I love so much about being a coach is to be able, my clients love it because they can tell me what's going on, right? And that frees their friends up.
Right. to actually like talk about clothes or something.
Right. But it frees them up, right?
Yeah.
From being able to have different relationships with their friends and not feel like this divorce has now infiltrated every single aspect of their life, right? By being able to have sort of me and that conversation that's going on with them. And I'm accessible for my clients that I am with. We meet weekly usually, but they have Voxer, which is like a walkie-talkie app.
Oh,
so
right.
they can actually send me a message and be like, Mickey, this is what just happened. Here's how I want to respond, right? And then I can say,
That's cool.
well, let's think about this.
Pause, please. Pause. Another
Let's
piece.
do some breathing techniques that we've worked on. But, to be able to have someone that is kind of there to support you.
Right.
And this is what I want for every mom and dad that's going through divorce, is that coach, that cheerleader, that mentor that's there with them in the journey, because it's just such a game changer.
Do you see men too or no?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right. So
I have a soft spot for moms. I do love moms. But yes, I do work with men and couples too.
Okay. Thank you so much. Like I said, I found you last week through a mutual friend and I was like, I need you on. Come on, come on. No, thank you so much. And the website where people can find you.
It's just my name, Mickey Gardner, 2 Ks and an I.
And an I.
MickeyGardner.com.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Seriously, beach ball, I mean, who knew, right?
I know.
Thank you.
I always see that in my head when I'm struggling.
For sure. Summer's coming up. So yeah, high five. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So that is Mickey and we are going to bring on Megan Neubauer in just a minute. But first, I had mentioned the Center for Financial Planning. They are doing a book tour because they've actually written this book and it's their advisors who have written it. And it's very cool. I was able to sit down with a couple of them. Like I said, I'll be emceeing and moderating their panel coming up on May 13th. But Lauren Adams, she is actually the one who edited and kind of spearheaded this project. So we met with her the other day. Let's watch. Okay, so I am here at the Center for Financial Planning as they celebrate their 40th year, but they are doing it in a big style because they are doing it with this fantastic book that I've been reading, Finding Your Center, but the title's longer than that. Because it's Achieving Confidence Through Financial Planning. And Lauren Adams, your name is actually on the cover.
Yeah, one of the editors, although this is very much a team effort.
So it is really cool that a lot of your advisors have actually taken a chapter.
Yep. Like everything we do at the center, it is very much a team effort. So each of our lead advisors took a chapter and wrote on a different area of financial planning, from tax planning to planning for Social Security and Medicare, charitable giving, estate planning. We did it as a team.
And you cover it all.
Yep.
So why did you kind of spearheaded this project? Tell me why.
Well, celebrating our 40th year, we felt like it should be something special. And we have been serving thousands and thousands of clients over the last 40 years, going on 3 generations of our firm ownership, generations of our clients' families, and have really a time-tested wealth management process to share with the world. And it can be frustrating as a financial advisor when you meet with people, clients, people in your life, where they say, oh, I have a financial plan. Oh, I have an advisor. And it's like, well, really?
And you're like, do you?
Do you? Do you though? Yeah. Has your advisor ever looked at your tax return? Does your advisor know if you have a mortgage? Do they know if you give charitably? I mean, we always have come up with this. And clients don't know until they're in it. And then by then they're already clients. So the book was a way to kind of share what we do with the world.
Right.
And hopefully maybe get more people to join us over time, but also just giving it a kind of a gift to somebody that could see on their own, learn more, and do it themselves if they wanted to, or understand, you know what, I might need help with this, or at least not now at a certain phase of my life.
So how does somebody know when they need a financial planner?
Yeah, so there's, and I think in the first chapter, I talk about all the different people that we wrote it for. So from people that are just starting a family, Or maybe they've started a family, their kids are now in school, they're finally getting their head above water, and they're like, I need to start thinking about retirement now that I can breathe. You know,
Right.
maybe I need life insurance. I need, maybe some kind of guardian for my kids or some document. Then you have people approaching retirement. Can I retire? What can I spend? You know, that's so common.
And so stressful.
And stressful.
Right.
And it's a completely different skill set to go from saving to, I need to know how to live. Where do I get that money from? When do I file Social Security? What do I do for healthcare?
And it seems like the numbers keep changing.
Right. I think our managing partner, Tim Wyman, said, there's the quote he recently used, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Oh, I love that.
40 years.
That should be on a coffee cup.
Yeah. 40-year anniversary, of this firm is a testament to that. This book is a testament to that. So doing it together has been my favorite thing.
That is so awesome. And how's it feel to see your name on there?
It feels pretty good.
That's
Feels
awesome.
pretty good,
That
yeah.
is so
I
cool.
definitely gave it to my mom.
You're like, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday.
Yes. You get a book.
You get a book, you get a book, you get a book.
By the way, you're taking a lot of books, right?
I am taking a lot of books. I am, because you know what? I think that it's important to get the resources out there and to let people know that they have options, but also to learn about things that they may not have even considered.
Yeah.
Right? So
We
that's important.
We want everybody to, we say, experience the transformative power of financial planning in their lives, whether they call us or not. This is a resource for them.
Yeah, and that's what is so amazing about this book, because I know initially it was kind of like, oh, well, we don't care how many we sell. We just want to get it out there for people as a resource.
Yes, we didn't go into this with the goal of being best-selling authors. We like this day job too much.
Right? Well, that's awesome. Okay, so you're going to be the first one I'm asking.
Okay.
I would like your autograph, please. So,
All right, I don't even have a fancy tagline or anything,
No,
so I'm
that's
just going to
okay.
go with
Just-
my name. Is this the appropriate way?
Yep,
All right,
go
all
ahead.
right. Thank you, Buck. That's very cool.
thank you so much,
Thank you
Lauren.
thank you for talking to us, and thank you for your support and helping us get the word out there.
No, it's so important, and there's just so much valuable information in this. Of course, we've got a lot of events coming up. We've got one May 13th coming up at Hartmonic All Heart Garage in Brighton. I'm excited about that.
Yes.
And how can people find out more information?
Yes, so the easiest way is just going to our website, centerfinplan.com. We have a lot of details about our book tour. We're going to different cities in the Metro Detroit area over the next few months. A great way, in addition to the book, is to sign up for our email. You can go to our contact, get yourself on our email list. We have resources that go out every month on, just tips, blogs, what's going on
I'm
in
on
the
that
world.
list, and I love getting those because I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Great. So that's
So you don't have to be a client to subscribe.
Yep, you can get all the resources, the videos like this, or specialized content, or even just, hey, did you know this is going on in the world right now? And we had a lot of questions about the market volatility. That would have been a great time if clients had questions or anyone had questions to kind of be on the list.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And again, finding your center. We're going on a book tour, man. We're excited. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Brooke.
Well, welcome back. And again, that date at Hartmonic All Hearts Garage is May 13th, and you will be getting a free copy of the book there as well. And you'll actually be able to ask the panel questions, which is pretty cool. I am with Megan Neubauer. And Megan, it's so nice to see you again.
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Yes. So you are the executive director of MIOCA.
Yes.
For people who aren't familiar, what's MIOCA?
We are the Michigan Ovarian Cancer Alliance, so we are a statewide nonprofit. We work to provide support for anybody in the state of Michigan who has been impacted by ovarian cancer. We fund innovative ovarian cancer research and really work to raise awareness and raise visibility of ovarian cancer throughout the state.
And of course, Mother's Day is always a big event for you guys.
Yes. So
it's time to teal.
It is time to teal. Yes, that's our biggest event of the year. It's our 5K fun run in downtown Ann Arbor. It's beautiful down through the streets, Main Street this year. And so it's our biggest event. We had almost 700 people last year. We're hoping to have even more this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so it's raises funds and awareness, and also really is a day to honor all of those folks. So we have a lot of survivors who come out, their family members, people who are remembering loved ones on that day as well.
And you said this is your biggest event, so fundraising wise, right?
Yep, biggest event fundraising wise, and biggest number of people who usually come in for the day as well. So yes, we're raising funds that support our work throughout the year.
And your work is, I mean, it's super important. And ovarian cancer, you know, we hear about it, and they always say it's the silent, right? The silent cancer, and stats are not good in Michigan, are they?
Yeah, we still have. So they often say they'll say silent, but there are some symptoms, and so we try to put that out there first and foremost, that it's, listen to your body, because they are subtle, but oftentimes folks will experience things. So those include, the four most common are bloating, abdominal pain, feeling full quickly. So maybe you take a bite of food and all of a sudden you're feeling full. Some people will describe that sensation. And then changes in urinary frequency and urgency. And so while they're really common, right? They're things that can be attributed to a lot of other less serious conditions, thankfully. But it is something that we say that if you've noticed any of those things, it's really important to go to your provider, especially if they're not normal for you. If it's something new and something's just feeling off, it might take some advocacy, but it's really important to really have those conversations and make sure. So in Michigan, we have about between around 600 folks diagnosed each year with ovarian cancer, around 20,000 across the country. It's not quite as common as some other cancers, but it is something that we don't have an early detection test for. So there's not a universal screening that's happening, unfortunately, so often diagnosed in later stages.
So that's what's interesting too, is that we often hear of the stories of the women going to their doctor and saying, listen, I'm not feeling good. Something is not right. Something is going on. And the doctor is saying, oh, it's this or it's that. And then finally they get tested, and then they get the diagnosis. Yeah. And so have you guys seen that change at all, to where women can go to their doctors and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling, and they're more receptive, I guess?
Yeah. And it's a lot of times for folks, it's not the first thing, because these are such different symptoms, people will sometimes get sent to specialists who aren't looking for ovarian cancer, right? Because they can be going to gastroenterologists or things like that. And the testing that is being done is usually not looking for ovarian cancer specifically. Right. So folks who have the information, that's where we tend to hear if people are asking about ovarian cancer. And there are plenty of providers who are looking for it as well. But because they're so vague, it can be really hard to pinpoint for folks what is actually going on. And those are the four most common, but there are other symptoms that people experience. So we always, if you know those, then it's always a great idea to bring that up with your provider, just to make sure that it's top of mind and that's what's being looked for. But there are also, family history and other things that you can talk with your doctor proactively to try to see.
To stay on top of it too, right?
And see if there are risk reduction options.
So, when people have these events, I know, I speak for Mothers Against Drunk Driving all the time, and go to their events. And it's so interesting because people hear, oh, well, it's going to be sad, and I don't want to go to that, especially on Mother's Day. And but the interesting thing is that these events are fun.
They are.
They are fun, and they honor our loved ones that may have passed, but they also raise awareness. So it's actually a fun day that you're participating in. And yeah, there may be some tears because you're remembering someone.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's a good cause.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a beautiful day. I mean, it is a celebration, right? We'll have, we're actually going to have all kinds of characters there too. So we have some folks dressed up as different princesses, I believe. I don't remember exactly who's coming this year. But we'll have folks in costume. We'll have people cheering along the course. And it is a really beautiful day for our survivors who are there too, who can be recognized and really celebrate and come together. And it's just, it's one of my favorite days of the year. Just beautiful and bringing everybody together, and it's a great community.
And so people can still register, right?
People can still register, absolutely. So people can register up until the day of the event.
Okay, perfect.
So you'd be welcome to come downtown Ann Arbor, and you can register through our website. All of our events are listed there on MIOCA.org, MIOCA.org.
And there's a fun run too.
There is a fun run. We're not super competitive. We do have some really, really fast runners, but we have plenty of folks who walk our 1 mile too. So Strollers are welcome.
That's awesome.
It's
Okay, so if you're looking for something to do on Mother's Day
Absolutely.
and raise awareness and just, kind of be out there and get it done, right?
absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. It's so nice to see you again.
Oh, thank you so much for having us. It's
yeah,
such a pleasure.
I know. And you gave me that teal coffee cup. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Love
yeah.
that.
So good.
Love
Thought we would like something a little teal that you can drink your coffee in the
Exactly.
morning.
It is one of my favorite. Actually, it's one of my favorite colors, as you can tell, right?
Yeah,
So thank you.
absolutely.
Okay, well, you mentioned celebration. There's also another celebration going on today, and it is Cinco de Mayo. And Marcy Scheinbaum is here. She is a personal chef. Come on up, Marcy. We're going to rotate on the couch. We're going to switch down and come on over here. And it's always so nice to see you, and not just because you always bring
Thank you.
food.
All right. Food is love.
I know.
Food
So
is
thank you
love.
so much. So,
Thank
you are a personal chef, and it's so funny when you hear that. Even when I say that, I feel all fancy, right? It's like, oh, she's a personal chef. But you do major events,
I do.
and
I do.
so today, what did you make today?
So today I made you, which you guys can all go out to the store today and buy this. It's super easy. This is my turkey taco bake. It's ground turkey. It has taco seasoning, black beans, corn, fire roasted tomatoes, some
Is
rice.
it spicy?
It's not super
No,
spicy.
I like spicy, but
Yeah,
is it
it's
okay?
like, and you can zhuzh it up a
Right,
little with
right,
some
for
hot
sure.
sauce and some tortilla chips. And of course, I know you love coffee, so I made you
Mm-hmm.
an espresso martini with tequila.
Oh,
So
we're switching it up. Is that why I'm so hot today? Like, what is happening?
Right.
No, in a full honest, I have not even taken a sip of that yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. So, okay. So the fun thing about this, when we were talking last week about this recipe, is that first of all, it's good for any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And it's simple because everyone, as we've talked about, is fast moving, on the run. And it's nice to have a recipe that you can just like kind of toss together, right?
Absolutely. I mean, this is actually how I started my business, was teaching my friends how to cook, because we're all challenged. We're all
Mhm.
busy. So while you say it sounds so fancy, I
Mhm.
mean, there's people that it is a luxury for, and then there's people that it's a priority for. We need to feed our kids, we need to feed our families, and we need to, figure out how to get dinner on the table quick.
Mhm.
And so I do cook for different families, whether they be corporate, young families, elderly people, and then I do a ton of special events. So
That is
I
so cool.
feel, really lucky that I can do this to help people.
So let's talk about meal planning real quick. That is an
Mhm.
ongoing challenge. I don't know about for either of you, but
Yes.
I'm always like, it's Sunday, by golly, I'm going to meal plan. And I'm like, yeah, that's not happening today.
Right, because Sunday you want to relax. So, I mean, I really feel like having conversations with your family, see what your week ahead is, kind of talk about what everybody wants and what everybody likes, because everybody has a different palate. And, with Instacart, I feel like grocery shopping is a little bit easier.
But I have to say, I love grocery shopping.
Right.
It's,
So,
I don't know what it is, but it's like, oh, I'm going to be gone for 5 hours grocery shopping because
right.
it's relaxing to me
Right,
somehow.
right. And you're lucky that you feel that way, because most people don't. Most people dread that. They don't know what to buy. They come home with a cart filled with stuff they don't know.
Just
So I
stuff,
say,
yeah.
like,
Usually from the
definitely
end
make a
caps,
list.
right?
Right.
You're like, oh, I needed that
This looks
chopstick.
good, and go hungry. So then
Right.
you like come home with all this junk food and you have no
Then you end up
food.
ordering something.
Right.
Like, well, that defeated the
I-
entire purpose.
Listen, I mean, I cook all day, and sometimes at the end of the day, I'll just have a bowl of cereal because I don't feel like eating what I've cooked all day, all
Right.
the time. So, and I'm, but I say be prepared, plan, have conversations, and, prep things if you can on a Sunday, make a
Define
bunch of.
prep.
So
What are we
I would say,
talking?
like, grill a bunch of chicken, chop and prep all your produce and vegetables. Talk about, like I said, what your week ahead is and what plans you have, so you know what nights you need to cook ahead, or, crock pot.
Right.
And like I say, if you have everything prepped, a container of lettuce and all your cut up vegetables, you'll be more apt to have a healthy salad than macaroni and cheese.
Mhm. Well, I'm laughing kind of because you mentioned crock pot. Listen, I love my crock pot. I really do. But the twins, they're so funny. They're like, not another
Again.
crock pot meal. What is
Right.
happening? And I'm like, what's wrong with the crock? What if I hid it? What if I took it out before they got home? Would they even know it was a crock pot meal?
Right. I mean, it
The crock pot has a bad reputation.
Well, everything I feel like tastes the same in the crock pot.
Oh, so you're with the twins then.
I know.
I'm like, look, it's chicken soup that tastes like meatloaf. Who knew?
Right, exactly. But I mean, I would say like even take them to the grocery store if you feel like it. I don't know if that's what you want, but ask them what they like and what they want.
Right.
I mean, now with TikTok, I feel like the kids, like
Mhm.
they're much more creative in the kitchen
for
than
sure.
we ever,
So I have to
had.
tell you. So my daughter used to be macaroni and cheese. My mom knows this: macaroni and cheese and chocolate chip pancakes. Carson is the one who is very, he's a foodie. Yesterday I took them out to lunch, and he's like, you know what I could really go for today? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, either oysters or a lamb shank.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what? I'm like, that's disgusting. So of course he ordered the lamb shank.
Oh my
And Daisy and I were sitting there, and I was like, I can't even watch him eat this. And where's the mint jelly? Is that a thing of the past or
Right.
what?
I think that's with lamb chops.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, it
Those
was.
are slow cooked,
are they?
right?
Crock pot?
Like you can definitely do in the crock
Can
pot.
you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So he's very expensive.
I love that.
Yeah, he
I
is
love
an
that.
expensive boy. So
But he's got good taste.
He does,
And
he
maybe
does.
you can like kind of get him cooking a little for you guys.
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
You don't
Maybe,
trust it.
yeah, maybe. And then I am proud to say though, Daisy, she is graduate. She did have an Oreo pancake yesterday, but she graduated from that. So usually that was all she would eat. It was like macaroni and cheese and chocolate chip pancakes.
Right.
And now we've expanded our horizon. She ordered an omelet yesterday.
I
So,
love that.
Yeah. See,
Right.
so and the whole breakfast for dinner.
Oh, it's like my favorite
Loving
thing.
that, right?
I actually did an event last week. It was a pickleball event, and it
Mhm.
was pajamas and pickleball, and it was breakfast for dinner. So I
Really?
made like frittatas and baked French toast and bagels, and it was amazing.
That sounds
I love
super yummy.
breakfast
Yeah,
for dinner.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the one thing I think that we can all agree on in the
Yeah.
family is like, okay, we're having Brinner, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We are having Brinner. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to scoot down because now we, everyone
Dessert.
sees the cupcake. Yep, dessert is last, and Ashley Sarah is here. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you for having me.
for being here, and of course, Bakehouse. You're the director of operations for Bakehouse 46.
Yep.
Which is a little bit of Blake's too, right?
Yep. So we are a Blake Farm company. We are a cafe and bakery. So what we really want to do is take all of those awesome farm flavors and really bring them to our downtowns and our locations. Things like an apple grilled cheese you can find in our bakehouses directly kind of tying into the farm. We have English muffins with our Blake's jelly. So really just incorporating all of those cool little farm elements into our bakehouses every single day.
And you have 6 locations.
We have 6 locations. We have a rotating monthly cupcake menu. After that co-parenting session, we're going to go get a cupcake.
Exactly.
I would.
So, fun fact: you have 2 sets of twins.
I have 2 sets of twins. They're
Yeah.
8 and 12. And I was listening very intently to that co-parenting advice. It was awesome. I will be getting on the website when I leave here. But yeah.
Cupcake in hand, right?
Cupcake in hand. But with Mother's Day coming up, it's just the perfect time to come visit us. And, we'll put together a really nice package for Mom.
All of our favorite flavors.
All of your favorite flavors, and come see all of our monthly flavors for the month of May. We have gourmet donuts. We have cider mill donuts. So again, just really those farm elements, bringing them to your downtown area.
So, what is like the most popular cupcake flavor?
Oh, see, that's hard. Our Samoa is really popular. That's on the menu all of the time. Our rotating flavors, I will say, I'll give you a sneak peek. Every month we do 6 new, and the banana pudding was.
Do you still have that one, or is it
No,
gone? It
it's
was
gone,
April.
but that is one of our fan favorites. And the strawberry cheesecake is another one of our rotators. That's a fan favorite. But you can't go wrong with like a cookies and cream or a chocolate petal.
Well, so the carrot cake one, because
Yes.
there's a lot of white chocolate and stuff, and I'm allergic to chocolate. So even white chocolate triggers a migraine for me. But you have like the carrot cake.
The carrot cake you can eat. It's just cream cheese frosting. That is a fan fave. I
Is
think
it?
that
Okay.
our carrot cake is probably the best carrot cake you'll eat.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know if you make carrot cake. I'm sorry. But it's definitely an awesome recipe. It's just so good. It's one of our best cupcakes
Yeah,
for sure.
it is so good. So, okay, Mother's Day is Sunday. You said you can you do boxes of 6, 12?
6, 12, any denomination that you'd like. You can place that order online. If you place that order online and you sign up for our rewards program through our app, you'll automatically get $10 off.
Oh.
So any order that you place when you first join that rewards program, $10 off right away. Don't tell mom you did that. All she needs to know is...
Unfortunately, she's here today, so I'm already like,
Sorry,
behind.
Mom.
In fact, why don't we just give her the cupcakes today?
There you go. It's all taken care
It's
of.
all taken care of, right?
But yeah, you can place your order online. We take all of our orders up to 24 hours before Mother's Day. So if you're late, don't worry. You have 24 hours.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Mom gets her gift today.
Exactly, right? So in a sense, I'm early, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I
She
am
had me
early.
here on purpose.
Exactly, right? I'm like, here you go. Okay, so I always thank you so much for being here,
No
seriously.
problem. Thank you for having
And
me.
of course, who doesn't love cider mill donuts at any time of the year, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the best. And cider, so when I lived in California, it was the funniest thing because I love cider mills. And my mom one time actually sent me cider in the mail to California. And that was years ago and it didn't go very well. It exploded. It was like, I can't believe they delivered it because it was like, what is this mess? But I was like licking the envelope because it was, you can't get that out there.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I think it's connection through flavor, right? Like just that feeling of fall and that sense of warmth. Cider any time of year can really connect those dots and just kind of bring you to a place mentally where it's like, okay, this feels cozy.
Right? Exactly. I'm all about cozy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I always ask everyone who's on the show. I don't know if you've, Megan, you've been on before. Marcy, you've been on, but I didn't ask it. I just started asking it since we moved to here, every media. Okay. So Mickey, if you had to meet your younger self for coffee, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to trust herself. I think that is the one thing that, especially as women, and I know from personal experience, is just listening to everybody else and trying to be what everyone else wanted me to be or told me was the right thing, and never really trusting myself. And so as I get older and as I've done a lot more work, it's just a beautiful place to be. And so I would just tell her to go easy on herself and trust, have faith.
Thank you. Megan?
It's a really hard one. Probably to find that little bit of time for yourself as well. Yeah, just making sure that you're finding that space within the busyness and everything that comes up from day to day. Yeah.
Marcy?
I would say if you are lucky enough to do what you love and be successful at it, do it. You're never too old to reinvent yourself. Do what you love.
High five to that one.
Yeah, for sure. And the money will follow.
Right? Okay. You know the question.
I mean, yeah, I think kind of along the same vein with Mickey there, be patient with myself. I think that I spent so much time being so absorbed in just my career and, not that that's changed, but it was in a tailspin of just, there was no me moments. It was more, how does it look? How am I portraying myself to the world if I'm successful or if, I have kids or the marriage or the whatever, just slowing down and really figuring out who I am before I allow myself to be something for someone else.
And to be sucked in,
Yeah,
right? It's kind
100%.
of it's the whole thing of just always moving fast and trying to meal plan and not quite doing it and, being negative when you really should be positive for your kids, but it seems impossible sometimes, and I think that that's part of the joy of coming together and having these conversations. And I just wanted to say thank you to all of you, for being here this morning. And I know we were in the green room and talking to Mickey and you were like, oh, I get that, and how many times do we overhear something and we're like, I get that, I get that. And it needs to be talked about, or you want to talk about it and you don't have anyone to talk about it with, so that's the tough thing sometimes. So I appreciate all of you being here, not just for the cupcakes, not just for the taco bacon, that espresso martini that's staring at me. and Megan, thank you. I'm so glad you reached out and, you guys do such great work. I have an aunt who, as you know, has been struggling with ovarian cancer for years. She's still, my Aunt Judy, she's still going, and I just love her so much. And Mickey, thank you.
Thank you.
I often find people on Facebook, and I often, and they're like, you want me to do what? Am I okay? Sure. But thank you for, being willing to come on at short notice, and just, it's such an important topic, and to kind of know that the kids are always watching.
Yeah. May I add one thing?
Of course.
I just wanted to, as you were talking and the meal planning, go easy on yourself. If you're out there, if you're even just struggling with anything, we have those days when it's just hard. And someone gave me some advice, and I really took it to heart probably too many times, but sometimes a balanced dinner for us looked like popcorn, cheese, and apples in front of the TV watching a Disney movie when my son was little. And he actually loved picnic dinners with mom. It was when I was stressed beyond belief and just didn't have anything left. But I could put those things in front of him and felt like maybe it was still healthy. So I would say just pick something that you have, that can make it easy on yourself. Give yourself some grace, for it's hard. Life can be really challenging. But if we can just sit down and sort of still connect with the people that we love, that we have close to us, it's going to be okay.
I agree.
So an actual picnic.
Literally,
I love that.
On the ground. Oh, he thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Microwave popcorn, cheese sticks, and apples.
Yeah.
Good to go. Right?
It kind of seemed okay. We still do it sometimes. So
That is awesome.
We're all still breathing.
How about a lamb shank? Can a lamb shank go on there?
Or lamb shake.
It's like, oh my God. And Marcy, it was funny because real quick, I was obsessed with this mint jelly, right? I did not know that it was for, obviously I don't eat lamb. So the whole lamb chop thing, but he's like, what are you talking about? Is it green? What color is it?
It is.
So we asked the server, he's like, where's the mint jelly? And she's like, we don't have that. And he's like, I'll take ketchup. And I'm like, oh, so gross. So thank you for clearing all of this up for me. I appreciate it. And I know he'll appreciate it too. So thank you all so much, ladies. Have a great, great week. And summer's almost here. Marcy, I expect you to whip up something else for Memorial Day. Okay?
I already am working on
all
that.
right. Awesome. Thank you. And Megan, I hope the walk is super successful and
Thank you
super
so
fun.
much.
And it goes for such a good cause. So thank you.
Thank you. We
And
appreciate
Ashley, I'll see you at all 6 locations.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mickey, we'll be in touch. All right. Thanks so much, everyone.
Sure.
Have a great week. And like I always say, keep the coffee hot. See you later. Bye-bye.